Hello my lovely crafters, today I'll be mixing Ranger Archival Inks plus Distress Inks and I'll be using splashing technique. I'll be using also those cute butterflies from Hero Arts and a lot of stamping. First of all, I'm using watercolor paper. This is Excel watercolor paper from Canson, and I'm using the smoother side of the paper. I also made my masks from masking paper using coordinating die cuts, and I die cutted the shapes of the butterflies and stick them to the surface of the paper where I want my butterflies to be. For more interest on my card, I also want a backdrop of this background stamp from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm using solvent barley beige ink from Simon Says Stamp. It's waterproof, so the pattern will exist on the splash of Distress Inks. Now I'm taking out my butterflies from this Hero Art stamp set, and I'll be using Ranger Archival Inks. As you know, on the Creativation, Tim Holtz introduced us to new colors of Archival Inks, which are compared with the colors of the Distress Inks, though they're still not available on the market, so I couldn't buy them. So I'll be using my old Archival inks. I have only 4 colors in my stash: black, brown, light blue and navy blue. I didn't want to use black one, it's so obvious, so I took my cornflower blue Archival ink and I stamped my butterflies. In place I had my masks. This Archival ink is oil-based and it's 100% water resisting, so when I will be splashing my butterflies, it will stay in the same shape and same colors as I stamped it. For next step, I'm taking the other stamp from the stamp set, which is like full butterfly, one layer. I can I can use it as a filling layer of the color on my butterflies. I'll be mixing each butterfly 2 colors, and those colors are wild honey, picked raspberry and peacock feathers. What I did, I re-inked my distress inks that they will better stick to my stamp and they will be juicy. As you can see from the top, I'm using wild honey and picked raspberry. Then in the middle, I'll be using picked raspberry and peacock feathers. And I'm doing mixed shape of the colors, some kind of rainbow, and I will finish with the peacock feathers from the top of the butterfly and then finish with wild honey, because I want a range of colors which are coming from one color to another color between the butterflies. I double stamped everything in Distress Oxides to have a nice coat of color, because I'll be splashing them with the water with my distress sprayer. It's not a distress sprayer, it's just a bottle with water with the sprayer which I'm using for my cards. I'm spraying my butterfly a lot of water because I want to extend the colors on butterflies around the shape of the butterflies on the paper. They will also stick to the solvent barley beige ink, which will appear. As you can see on the left side already, the backdrop stamp appearing under the layer of the water distressed colors. I wasn't exactly super fond on how much the water spray all over the butterflies, so I made also kissing technique with the distress inks all over the white space on my card. For this technique I need to use my heat gun for a long time because, as you could see, my card was folding from the amount of the water over the paper. For extra something, I picked up my Spectrum Noir colorful pens. I made them juicy so they will splash the colors all over the page with the splatter. I used 3 colors, yellow, pink and blue one, the same ones I'm using on my butterflies. I also heat set it once again, everything that my splatter won't smoosh all over the page when I'm working on the parts of the sentiment. I couldn't find in my stash coordinating color paper, so I made mine own. For the blessing die cut and sentiment, I picked up peacock feathers, and from the other sentiment, which I stamp once again with my cornflower blue archival ink, I picked raspberry. So I die cutted my peacock feather strip, and also I dried distress inks very carefully before I was die cutting and stamping my stamps. Also the colors on the piece of paper smooth out, so they're not so splashy and with the white spots. Now I'm die cutting blessings from the peacock feather strips, and once again I will die cut it with the white cardstock and mat it with the blue one with the white one to have a white shadow in the back of my sentiment. I glued them together with the regular liquid glue. This is Pantel liquid glue. It's available in Europe and it's working pretty well. And it's translucent, and I have time to move over my sentiment if I want to. Always try not to forget about the teal in your sentiment. For my sentiment, I picked from the blessing stamp set coordinating sentiment for your birthday. I think so, it's for your birthday. Let me see. Blessings for your birthday. It should be right, yes. And I stamped it on a pink paper with the archival inks. I didn't want a black sentiment and I didn't want also white sentiment, so I wasn't embossing it with the white. The blue works really nice with my background and the colors of the butterflies. To make this sentiment more interesting, I found out small shape of heart in my stamps, and I added this heart next to the sentiment. For the next step, I had to trim out the sentiment to the size I wanted. And I used my trimmer from Tonic Studios. I set up my sentiments. I tried them on the top, I tried them in the middle, but I set up on the top of the card for the blessings and down of the card for on your birthdays. As you can see, I stick my blessing sentiment again with the liquid glue. I wanted something more than just pink strip of paper, so I got to my stash of my washi tape and I found out this nice blue dotty washi tape and I stick it under the pink sentiment. I stick my sentiment with the dry adhesive and then I will cut the rest of the sentiment which is going out from the from my background with the scissors. To make it more interesting, I covered my blessings sentiment with the Wing of Stella translucent sparkly pen, and I was considering to mat my card with the pink paper, but it was too pink for me, so I stuck with a blue one. I made my card base with this blue Canson paper. I trim it on my trimmer and then fold it with my bone folder on another trimmer from Fiskars. I didn't want my card to be super flat. Still my butterflies are flat on the card, so to make it more extra I took Scotch 3D foam and I covered all the backdrop with this foam and stick it to the base of the card, and that's it. As you can see, I have lovely free butterflies which has ombre color on it and nice background with some backdrop from the background stamp. Thank you for watching and spending time with me. See you soon in next video. I'll be happy if you subscribe to my channel and give it thumbs up. If you want to see my other card making projects, let's catch up on Instagram. Bye!